The second process through which race becomes real, so the first one was racial projects, the second one is hegemony. Now, hegemony is a term that's not unique to discussions about race, to race theory. It's not even unique to anthropology. It's a term that gets thrown around a lot in a lot of different disciplines. And so I'll define it first, and then I'll say how it's relevant to racial formation. So the definition of hegemony, the anthropological definition of hegemony, is when one ideology is so powerful that it makes itself seem as though it's common sense, and that any other ideology, any other perspective, whether it's opposing, whether it's a slight variation or a big variation, any other ideology becomes either completely invisible or simply laughable. And in some ways, laughable is the worst version of it. So when one ideology is so powerful that it makes any other perspective, any other ideology seem invisible or laughable. So another way to think of hegemony, and the way that I like to think about hegemony, is common sense plus power equals hegemony. So if you remember, common sense is a way of thinking about the world that's common to a specific group of people. It's not universal, it's specific to a certain group of people, and that's great, and you call that worldview. But when you add the component of power, so this common sense is the only way of thinking about the world that is acknowledged as appropriate or acceptable or true, and all other common senses are not true or inappropriate, don't make sense. We call that hegemony.